Giovanni, thank you. Yeah, my name's Ruby Ablett. I am 24 years old and I am a member of the Equity Young Members Committee. Today I'm here to speak on behalf of all Equity's young members. I cannot imagine how it must feel to have spent your lifetime working in this industry only to have it put on pause and then left to rot. For young arts professionals like myself, the situation is totally different. We've barely begun to work, and now there is no work. For recent graduates, it honestly feels like I have trained for an industry that does not exist. We're all at the beginning of our careers. Some of us are students or graduates, some of us are taxpayers. Some have just started a family, they have a mortgage, and many more, myself included, would just like to get on the housing ladder. We are actors, directors, designers, stage managers, costume makers, sound engineers, set designers, choreographers, clowns, comedians, and lots of us do a little bit of everything. But what we have in common is that when we committed to a career in the arts, we knew it was going to be hard. Young arts professionals like myself are willing to work hard and contribute to our £112 billion industry, but without immediate action, the future of that industry is bleak. It will not be safe to open arts venues for some time. But in the meantime, government cannot just pretend we don't exist and assume we'll be in a fit state to open when they say so. Without targeted financial support, we will not be in a position to open at all. Not in 6 months' time and not in a year's time. And that is why we need the government to implement Equity's 4-pillar plan, a plan that has been specifically designed by people in our industry to keep our industry alive so that when it is safe for us to return to work, we have an industry to go back to. It's not just the arts industry itself that needs government support. I don't need to tell anybody listening who works within the arts that arts professionals themselves are in personal financial crisis. For the youngest workers like myself, many of whom are more likely to live week to week, this is honestly a really frightening place to be. Our industry is precarious. We work multiple jobs a year, we have unpredictable wages, and we have no permanent colleagues. It can be lonely. It can be a really lonely place at the best of times. Our work and our social lives are heavily intertwined, and at the moment we have little of either. Now, I think I know what people outside of the arts might be thinking. There are other jobs we could all be doing during this downtime while the arts are down. That's true. And let me say this for anyone that does not work in the arts. Arts professionals are not afraid to work in other industries. On the contrary, most of us do it on a regular basis to supplement the wages we earn from our creative careers. The majority of my peers, myself included, have worked as waiters, teachers, ushers, retail assistants, receptionists, and all of these jobs have been reduced or eliminated completely by Corona. Despite this, some of us have managed to find non-arts jobs during the crisis. I have friends who now work as supermarket assistants, delivery drivers, call centre workers, but these job openings are few and far between. And as unemployment rises, they will become totally oversubscribed. So you'd think, with no work in our industry and limited work in the industries surrounding it, that we would be the targets of the government's personal financial support schemes. However, we know that's not the case. Not for 40% of Equity members who have received nothing at all, and certainly not for young members. I graduated in 2017, so I was just eligible for the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme. but anyone who graduated in 2018, 19 or 20 was ineligible. The scheme also excludes anyone who earned more from PAYE jobs than they did from their self-employment. Many of my peers who are just finding their feet in the arts industry fell through this crack. Many more received a grant that would barely cover a week's food shop. For those of us who had those PAYE jobs when the crisis hit, the furlough scheme offered some support. However, for most of us, not anymore. As the youngest and newest workers, often on 0 hours contracts, we were the first to be laid off. In the last few months alone, we have seen the National Theatre lay off 400 casual staff, the South Bank Centre 400, Nimax 130, Cameron Mackintosh 200 and ATG 1,200 staff gone. I don't have the figures, I don't know if they're out there, but having worked for one of those organisations, I would not be surprised to find that the majority of those now redundant workers are under the age of 30. And that is just front of house theatre jobs. They are the tip of the iceberg. Many young arts workers, unable to afford their rent, have been uprooted from their day-to-day lives and now rely on the financial support of their parents. For those without that incredible privilege, they will simply be priced out of the arts industry. Our generation is the most diverse to enter this industry. We are at the forefront of the movements that challenge established practice and initiate change. This industry will be a less colourful, less inclusive and less diverse place without us, not to mention how many working class and minority voices will be lost because they simply cannot afford to stay. In the last few months, there have been glimmers of hope as some TV and theatre has returned in some capacity. Whilst I commend this, and I honestly commend the organisations who have pioneered a new way of working in these strange times, do not be fooled. It is not business as usual for the rest of us, and definitely not for young workers. Already, I see a worrying trend of famous faces appearing in reruns and week-long one-off events. Again, this is brilliant, and I am so glad that those organisations have worked to make art happen in this time. But if we do not receive the support we need, our future will look much the same. It will be familiar faces, familiar stories. It will be driven by the need to put bums on seats. And I doubt that those of us at the start of our careers with the least experience and the least industry connections will be the ones invited to the table. Cities in the UK, all across the UK, are in ruins without their cultural centres. We can see this from the number of job losses and liquidations in industries like retail and hospitality. The arts are critical to every aspect of British society, from tourism to mental health. We are so much more than a niche pastime, and to have been called unviable is a gross insult. If our government do not provide the support we need industry-wide, as well as a support system for the individuals who make this industry what it is, there will be no arts industry to go back to. Calling us unviable will not make us go away. We are skilled, hard-working taxpayers who contribute to one of the biggest and most lucrative industries in the UK. We must be given the support we need. Thank you.